Enemy air forces trying to attack from your flank. Move your anti-air tanks or anti-air units to defend. When the unit is picked up, pressing the middle mouse button again can change the direction of the formation. Okay, so yeah, basically it rotates the unit. They are trying to attack from the flank. Do we know which? Ah yeah, it's this flank. So our Mustangs, which are high-speed all-purpose tanks, they are basically light tanks, whereas the sledgehammers are heavy tanks. They should be able to deal with that very, very quickly. Let's rotate a bit. Yeah, as you can see, these things haven't even spawned in and they're already dead. And now the army is marching. This side is not going to win. But it's going to be a bit of a close loss. Then again, if we are fast enough, we can destroy the energy building. And then this side might just win. I don't think so, no. Just not, but only one of the arc lights survived and the sniper is going to take that out quickly. Unless the Mustangs get there first, nah. Boom. Alright, level 2.5, I guess. Then we can counter a group of units. And that is also, I think, the last tutorial. Sometimes the enemy's unit is composed of multiple units with different characteristics. Steel Ball and Mustang is a classic composition. Try to counter this composition. So Steel Balls, they once again have a similar weapon to the melting points, although smaller. They do a lot of damage if they can focus on the same target. So if you put a lot of small units up front and the steel balls target them, you are going to be sitting pretty. However, the small units are probably going to get absolutely destroyed by the Mustangs. So we have a composition here that is good against small enemies and big enemies. And also, the Mustangs are good against air. I'm not sure. Oh no, they can only target ground. So we have a bunch of anti-air. But what I'm thinking, maybe, no, it's gonna be too expensive. An Overlord would have been nice because nothing here is good against big air units. And the Overlord should hopefully deal with this. So what do we got anyway? We have a bunch of crawlers and arc lights. Yeah, we need a counter for both directions. The arc lights have extended range. These guys have subterranean blitz, which is also very funny. Increase movement speed by 3. That is 3 meters per second, I think. So they would be at 22 now. Oh, no. They are at 60 normally. They are now at 19. That's it. Tunnels underground, if there are no enemies within 40 meters, and nullify 70% of damage received, and emerge from underneath the ground and attack upon arriving near an enemy. We can unlock something worth 50. Unlocking wasps would be a terrible idea. The rhino would be destroyed as well. Unlocking our own steel balls might just be a good choice. Unlocking stormcallers, I guess, is also not bad, because they could potentially be able to deal with that. Also, the sledgehammers are not a bad idea either, because sledgehammers can actually deal with a good amount of enemies with a wide variety. They do splash damage, they are fairly sturdy, but it's also 5 units, but I don't see them surviving. Maybe also the Phoenix. They have a fairly low rate of fire, but we have a bunch of chaff that might be able to deal with everything. Let's try out the Phoenix. We haven't seen those, and buy 2 units of that. Let us get the Phoenix, and what should we be going after? You know, if we put them like... Nah, I want them behind the chaff. How fast are they anyway? They are also pretty fast. They are faster than the Arclight. So maybe if we put them like at this line here. And do the same on the other side. Let's try out how that works. So the Phoenix is basically an air sniper unit. It attacks air and ground. It can deal with big enemies mostly. So right now we are dealing hopefully with the steel balls. Yeah. But we do have leftover arc lights here, and our crawlers have arrived at the target because this side apparently won. I was not focusing on it. But now that absolutely worked because we were able to deal with the steel balls quickly enough. Of course, the enemy has a lot of ways to counter phoenixes as well. But if we increase their range, for example, they could be well out of range of those Mustangs. And then the Mustangs would also take a bit of damage, or we could have more chaff. There's a lot of ways to deal with these things. Anyway, that is basically Mechabellum, the tutorial. We have all the tutorials done. We have survival mode here. We have community challenges. We have practice. We have testing grounds. Yeah, how about we just take one normal difficulty practice before we go and jump into multiplayer, just to see how the game is when you're not in a tutorial. So now we choose one of these starting setups. We have basically infinite amounts of time here, and we can already see what we get. We have speed specialists, so we are more quickly. We have quick supply specialist, which is a lot of extra supply in the first round. We have aerial specialist, so aerial units no longer consume supplies when being unlocked, and their range is increased by 10. Marksman specialists start with a level 3 marksman. That is absolutely powerful, and we have their units here. So do we want to go for airplay? Yeah, also the HP are different. I say let's go for airplay. Gotta love airplay. Anyway, so now we have to place our units. The enemy's composition is Steel Ball and Fang. Well, that's a good composition to have. I'm not sure if we can stand up to that, but you know, the Phoenixes were good at one point, so they might be good again. Let's maybe have a bunch of these units here. Put some crawlers in the middle. Put some crawlers at this point and here, so that they will hopefully funnel in a bit, and put the tanks. Come on. Put the tanks here. Let's see how that works. We can unlock more units, so, you know, why don't we unlock something ridiculously expensive and try the Overlord again? How much money do we have anyway? We only have 200 bucks. Okay, so that wouldn't do us any good. But we have tried the Phoenixes before, so let's unlock those. They cost us nothing to unlock. And, you know, they might just do something good here. Let's put them here. End deployment. Enemy has also spread out their force. Very often they stack their units, which can be absolutely annoying. So the Fangs, can they actually? No, they can only attack ground. So I guess we are going to win by default because nothing here shoots our Phoenixes. The enemy could have bought another unit as well, but they did not. So as you can see, they don't trade particularly well against this unit composition, the Sledgehammers, but we win by default because we spec'd into air. Of course, in multiplayer, the enemy could very well anticipate us. There is a time limit to the round though. I'm not sure what... Hang on. Oh, the Fangs can target air and ground. I must have clicked on something else. I was stupid. And each round we get reinforcement. So we can get a deployment specialist, and this may cost us supplies. We can also increase sledgehammer range and decrease HP. Decreases teleport time required. Increases the strength of shield devices. That is actually pretty good. We can also skip for some extra supplies. What should we take? Would it be a good idea to teleport overlords into the enemy's flank? I'm not sure if it would be a good idea, but it would be a hilarious idea, I think. So let's unlock the overlord. Where is it? Here. Let's unlock the overlord and maybe teleport it like here. Maybe one bit further towards us. So now it should be teleporting in much quicker and come online almost immediately, at least by comparison, and it can already start blowing all of these enemies up. It does a good amount of damage, but if the enemy moves, it is not nearly as good. That said, as you can see, it also has quite an HP pool, so it can deal with these enemies, and now this flank is getting annihilated as before. The Phoenixes are getting annihilated as before. I did not think that the Fangs could, you know, target them, but that was my mistake. Or rather, I didn't even think about checking that. But now our Overlord is hopefully going to be doing good work here as well. We are going to be debuffed for a while, but we still have a bunch of chaff that can take the damage for the Overlord. And they can actually deal decently well with these fangs, even if they are being affected by the energy loss debuff or whatever you call it. We're going to lose another energy tower, but by the time, there's hopefully not going to be anything left that can shoot up, which means we win by default. I think at this point the sledgehammers alone could have taken the steel balls. Boom. As you can also see, we get more supplies each round, so the battle escalates pretty quickly. Photon emission, and let's check these in, let's check these while we are actually looking at the screen. So electromagnetic pulse, cooldown of 2 rounds, launches an electromagnetic impact shot that deals 35,000 damage to shields, temporarily disables tech on hit, and decreases movement speed by 40% for 25 seconds. This you can use to absolutely positively debuff the enemy into oblivion. Photon emission, I think, is actually a counter to that. Projects a photon coating to cover any friendly forces within the specified range, reducing damage by 50% for 16 seconds, and immune to electromagnetic igniting acid. There's also a comma that is standing on its own, and degenerative beam effects with another space that is left in between. I may or may not should be writing these down and reporting them. Orbital bombardment launches 15 missiles at the target area, dealing 25,000 damage per missile. And deployment module, this is something new. We can equip our units with these modules, and they can then freely move around in the deployment phase each round. So we can deploy them wherever we want. Now, the enemy. Do we gain much from disabling the enemies? I'm not sure if we do. Because the enemy has... well, we kind of need chaff clear. So I think we need more overlords. Also modules, I think they are not like tags and apply to every unit. They are simply here to... you can equip them in one squad, and that squad has the effect. Do we go missiles? Do we go EMP? I feel like if we can break the enemy efficiently enough, and we are able to hopefully, we can actually deal with the enemies pretty nicely. Plus, this turns off enemy shields. So what do we need to counter them? I think we need higher range and everything. So, this is very bad against the steel balls, because then they can focus on the same target for a longer time. Mechanical Rage increases movement speed and reduces attack interval, so it's basically DPS and movement, and we can increase range. What are we looking at? I think a second Overlord and teleporting that in is not a bad idea. Let's teleport that in at the rear. Oh no, they will move forward then. Let's teleport it into the front. And then we are dealing with 150 left. I don't think there's any tech this cheap. No. We could get another set of crawlers. We could put up some of these. We don't have any missiles that we need. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to save it, but I will use the EMP, hopefully to stun all of these. Hang on, maybe a tiny bit further forward, because it probably has a bit of time until it hits.